This news blast is brought to you by Qberg, Pittsburgh's source for LGBTQ plus news and community information. To learn more about Qberg, visit their website at qberg.com. From the PEP Radio Newsroom, here's the latest news blast. A review of the task force's cost-cutting measures conducted by New America, a left-leaning think tank, reveals layers of erroneous calculations. DOGE, spearheaded by tech billionaire Elon Musk, said it saved $881 million 2 weeks ago by abruptly terminating 89 contracts at the Education Department's research arm. Thing is, however, the real value of the contracts was closer to $676 million. Okay, that's still a savings. The DOGE team appears to have acknowledged it gave misleading estimates. DOGE's Wall of Receipts website lists $489 million, not $881 million, in savings based on the same canceled contracts. Much of the education funding that DOGE nixed was also already allocated. As New America's researchers explained it, research cannot be undone, and statistics cannot be uncollected. Because of the cuts, they said, studies will go unfinished, likely sitting on a computer somewhere untouched. The government has already spent nearly $400 million on those agreements, many of which will now have to go through a long rebidding process, costing taxpayers more. By subtracting the money the government has spent from what it agreed to award, New America put the actual savings from DOGE's cuts closer to $278 million. This doesn't get better. Axing droves of research isn't like canceling a subscription, said Antoinette Flores, a former Education Department official in Washington, D.C., who uncovered the discrepancies. It's clear that this was not put together with a great deal of care, she said. This is work that's in progress and that you will get nothing for. The findings underscore a pattern of hyperbole and falsehoods from the DOGE team about its work. DOGE's six-person detail at the Education Department effectively decimated the Institute of Education Sciences, the agency's long-term research apparatus, a move that has drawn criticism from conservatives and progressives with expertise in the field. Major studies about virtually every aspect of schooling in the United States were scrapped seemingly overnight. They form the basis of what we know about education in the United States, Flores said. Without that, everyone is in the dark. Margaret Spellings, who led the Education Department during George W. Bush's Republican administration, denounced the cuts in an interview on CBS News last week. Without that research, without that accountability, without that transparency, we're really flying blind, she said. An Education Department spokesperson referred USA Today to DOGE when asked about the calculations. The White House said the DOGE team's calculations don't assume any administrative savings, adding that the task force has been reporting both ceiling and savings values from recently terminated contracts. Bravo! Way to go, Elon! Thanks to your chainsaw approach to education cuts, you managed to cost taxpayers more money than you saved. Maybe you should change the name of your working group to DOGE, Department of Government Inefficiency. Now, we realize this government isn't big enough for two doggies. So why don't you take your other doggie out of the Oval Office for a walk before he craps all over the country with another executive order? That's our news blast for this hour. If you're watching us over on YouTube, be sure to click the subscribe button, and you can always catch these videos over on Blue Sky. And if you're listening on PEP Radio, stick around. Here's the latest weather forecast from the National Weather Service for the Meadville area, right here on PEP Radio.